Hi, welcome to Undead Yarn. This is an addendum to episode 100 that really didn't happen. I did talk about some of my projects in the last episode, and so I'm not going to go over those again. Or I'm not going to do a rehash of everything I did. What I'm going to do this time is show you guys what I'm bringing to Houston, and then I'm going to go over the 20 questions that I was asked by Lady Fernico from Penhook and Needles, and then Deb's Destiny from the Never Cast Off podcast. They asked me these questions back in December, and I'm just now getting around to answering them. Anyway, before we get started, I'm just going to show you, I finished a cowl, and I think I can put this on without making too much of a mess of my hair. And this is the Muskoka cowl. Let's see if I can get it. It's funny, it's always odd when I'm standing in front of the camera. You can't really see. Let's see, let's pull that back up. And I'll step back a little bit so you can see it more. It's actually a little triangular cowl, and it's by Blue Brick. I believe she's called the Blue Brick on Instagram. Did I write it on here? Her name, the person who did it, her name is Shireen Nader, but I believe her moniker is the Blue Brick. And this is the colorway that is called Lester, named for the mascot of the Houston Fiber Fest, which is where I will be starting tomorrow. The Fiber Festival opens on Friday. I'm driving in to set up tomorrow, but we'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and each day it opens at 10. So if you would like to come and see Lester in person, this colorway will only be available at the Houston Fiber Fest. After it's done and gone, it's gone. So I have some of it in fingering and some of it in DK. So let me show you again so you can see it a little bit better. That's the way the colorway knits up. So I have that, and I also, one of my friends, Betty DeLargy, she knit a shawl for me out of some of my new colors. And she knit I think it's probably the most recent Curious Handmaids shawl, probably from the Shawl Society. I'd have to look it up again. But she did post a picture on my, in my FO thread on the Ravelry group, and she also has posted the picture of the shawl in on her project page. So these are the colors that she picked for the shawl. She used 2 of the Sun and Air, and she picked a pale pink as the contrast color. And I have another pink that's a little bit darker, so some of them are a little bit lighter than the others. But those colorways will be available at the Houston Fiber Fest, and I'm going to have her shawl hopefully on display too, so you can see what it looks like. Those are, I think, the only 2 things I wanted to show you before I get into the 20 questions, and they're all about our hobby, what we do. So the first one says, who are you? My name's Heidi. I am a speech pathologist and an indie dyer. I've been working in speech pathology for 20 years, and this is my year number 5 of being a dyer. And I'm from the Northeast, and I moved to Texas back in 1994 and have not left. I've stayed in Austin. Number 2, why did you start knitting, crocheting, spinning, or weaving? Well, I started knitting because my husband was always busy, because he really enjoys graphic design, and he used to do a lot of the word just flew out of my head. He used to do a lot of freelance work when he would come home. So he was often busy, and my biggest hobby is reading and watching TV, but that can get boring after a while. You need something else to do. So I was kind of thinking, oh, maybe if I get another hobby. So I started looking around, and I don't know why, but I was at Tuesday morning, and I saw a Learn to Knit kit, and I picked it up. And I think either that week or the week after, somebody started an Austin Knitting and Crochet meetup on meetup.com, and that right now that has really grown. It's a big, huge group now. But when I first started going, it was pretty small. We had maybe 20 to 50 people. and we only had one meetup. And but now there's a lot of different meetups in the same group, just different parts of town. Anyway, I taught myself to knit from that book, but somebody taught me to purl at the meetup because she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm purling." She said, "No, you're not." And so she showed me how to do it. And then I don't know what it is. There was just something about knitting. I think it's just the creative aspect of it, creating something new that you planned. I just love that. So that's when I started knitting. And then, of course, that led to spinning eventually. I didn't understand why anybody would want to make yarn, but the more I was knitting and saw what other people were spinning, I really wanted to learn because I enjoy being able to create something from other people's fiber. It's really interesting, and you end up coming up with something that looks very different from what it might look if you just picked up a skein of yarn and knit. And then I started dyeing with Kool-Aid just for fun to see if I liked it, and I really did. I don't know what it was about dyeing, but that really got me. I just loved it, and I started to get frustrated because I couldn't get a good black, and people kept saying you can't really get a good black unless you use acid dyes. So I started dyeing with acid dyes, and at that point I just thought, oh, I really like this. And I always wanted to do something in the fiber arts. I just didn't know what. At first I thought I was going to be a designer, and so I took some classes on designing, but it's kind of I don't know. I do have a few patterns that I've designed, but I really took to dyeing. There was just something about working with color that, and also the creative aspect of it. It just really excites me, and I still to this day enjoy coming up with new colorways. What is your favorite or proudest make? And I did it again. I forgot to bring it down. I was going to show you guys. It's a circular shawl called the Mandala shawl, and it was by Knitting Goddess. It was a mystery knit along, and I didn't know what I was getting into. And I started knitting it, and I was like, oh no, another circular shawl? Because they kind of take a while. My first circular shawl was the hemlock ring blanket, but that was on worsted. This was on lace weight, and it took me a year to finish it, but it came out just beautiful, and it's my favorite knit. It's probably the one I'm also the most proud of. My most disastrous make is number 4, and that was my first sweater. First of all, I picked woolies because I didn't really know much about yarn at that point, but I didn't do a gauge swatch, and I knit it, and then I tried to put it on, and I could not even get it. Like, I got it over my head, but then my arms, I couldn't get my arms in it. So it was way too small for me. So that I do not have anymore. I gave that to Goodwill, and maybe somebody could wear it. It also had mistakes in it, but I mean, I think somebody could have got their arms in it. Number 5 is, what do you have a favorite place to buy yarn or fiber? Probably Etsy, I guess, because there's such a variety. Although I don't know if that's going to continue because of Etsy's new policy, but that's another matter. But right now, Etsy is my favorite place to buy yarn. And then locally, I really like Hill Country Weavers, and I like Happy You, and I also like the Knitting Cup in Georgetown. So those are probably my favorite stores, local stores to buy from. What is your most used or most loved pattern? There's this pattern, I think it's called Simple Shawl. It's basically a prayer shawl. It's very simple knit. Basically you knit and then you increase one, I think, is there a yarn over? I think you knit, yarn over, and then knit across the row for the whole pattern. And it ends up making a big triangle. And I've made several of them because it's very easy. I don't have to think about it, and it's almost impossible to make mistakes on it. So I think I've knit about 3 or 4 of them, and one of them was for my grandmother, who has passed since. But I wanted to send her a comfort shawl when she got sent to the nursing home, because I know that was hard. Anyway, number 7, your most dreaded knitting, spinning task. Knitting, I do not enjoy picking up stitches. I really don't. I do it, and it doesn't bother me so much when I do a sock, but I really hate it when it's in a sweater and they just say pick up this many stitches and you have no idea how to pick them up. Should I pick up every other one? Should I pick up 3 then skip one? Like, just tell me. Just tell me what to do. And the other thing is, as far as spinning, I don't really enjoy plying. I like the result of plying, but I enjoy just spinning the fiber initially more than I do plying. Let's see, number 8 I'm on, I think. Yes, and your favorite task? My favorite task is matching yarn to a pattern. I love that because I almost never use the same yarn or the same color yarn that somebody does in a pattern. I usually look at it and say, oh, I like the way that looks, and then I look at my stash or I look around shops and I try to pick some colors that will go together or that I think will look good with the pattern. That's probably my favorite part of knitting. What is your favorite crafty entertainment? Knitting or dyeing? Knitting, if it's your crafty, yeah, it's probably dyeing. I don't know. I just really like the dye pots. I like creating new colors. I like going back and tweaking my old colors and making them look better. I enjoy that. Number 10, for patterns, do you prefer books, magazine, Ravelry, or would you rather make up your own? I like Ravelry. I think just the convenience of it. I mean, I have tons of books and I really should use them more, and I buy the book and I love a lot of patterns in it, and then I put it on my shelf and I forget about it. And then some, new shiny comes up on Ravelry and I download it and start knitting it. So, yeah, I think I use Ravelry the most. What is your favorite brand of knitting needles? My favorite brand of knitting needles are definitely my Chaigus. Those are my favorite. There are some other ones I like. I do like Hayas, and I tried the Zings. I like those too, but my favorite's the Chaigu because I really like the strong cord that they have. That was only part of the question. Let's see. Or crochet hooks. I don't really have a favorite crochet hook. I've used a bunch of them. I don't think I really have any preference. And then for spinning, what is your favorite wheel? Probably my eel wheel. My Kromsky is definitely the more industrious wheel, but I like that I can carry the little eel wheel around wherever, and it's sitting on my desk, so I'm often at my desk knitting, so I will spin too because it's sitting right there next to me. Number 11, what is your favorite brand of, oh, we already did that. Number 12, what is your favorite notion or tool? Probably the needle finder. You know, those little gauge things that you stick your needle in to see which needle it is. Because I know my Chaigus, they are all labeled, but a lot of my other ones are not. And so I will just put them away. I have a few different things I put my needles in, and one of them does not have the different sizes in it. I just throw it in there, so I often have to take it out and put it in the needle minder or the needle gauge, whatever it is, to find out what size the needle is. So that's probably my favorite tool. What is your current favorite project? I don't think I have a current favorite project. I did really enjoy knitting this cowl, and I think I would knit it again because it was not difficult. It does have different stitch patterns in it, so it gave a little bit of interest, but it wasn't so much change that you could get lost. So maybe this one is the Muskoka cowl. Number 14, what is your favorite place to knit, crochet, or spin in public? Well, I really did like, we used to go to Whole Foods in the Domain, and it has big, huge windows upstairs, and there's really great lighting. And so that was probably my favorite place that I've ever knit. I don't go there anymore, but that's a nice place to knit because I basically like places that have big windows and lots of good light. Next one. What is your favorite fiber arts book? I think the Fleece and Fiber Source book is probably my favorite because I have been trying a lot of different kinds of wool, and it's really interesting to look it up. Sometimes I'll wait till after I'm done spinning it to look it up, but a lot of times I'll look at it while I'm while I'm spinning. So I do really like that. Let me see if I can move this over. I can see reflection in the mirror back there. Oh well. I should just be marking these, it'd be easier. Do you have any other hobbies? Yes, I do. I like to art journal, but I haven't done that for a while. I also like to color in coloring books. That's a lot of fun. And I have a bunch of them. I have like a supernatural one. I have the Franklin Habit knitting one. I have Throne of Glass, the series by Sarah J. Maas. And I have, I think, a fairy one that I got in the fairy loot box at one point. So yeah, I'd like to do that. That's fun and it's relaxing. And let's see, number 17. If you could meet anyone in the fiber arts community, who would that be? I said, last time I said it was Cornelia Tuttle Hamilton because I've probably knit most of the patterns. Like, I've knit the most patterns of hers. But then I was thinking last night, I think I've also knit a lot of patterns by Laura Linneman, but I have met her already. So I guess Cornelia Tuttle Hamilton, or I don't know. I can't think of anybody in specific. There's a lot of people I would love to meet. I don't know if I have a favorite. I think there are a lot of people I'd be very happy to meet and be excited about, though. What is, let's see. Oh, no, the last few. Number 18, knit or crochet. I prefer knitting. Number 19 is weave or spin. I prefer spinning. I do have a loom. I have not used it. I used like a little kid loom I had, and I've made a few squares, but that's about it. Color or neutrals? Oh, definitely color. Y'all know me. I love lots and lots of color. I really like neons too. And sweater or socks? Definitely socks. I did start a sweater actually in this colorway. I really like it. That's a pink, it's not a red. I'm making sure you'll see. And there's a brown in there too. I really love how that knits up, so I've started a sweater in that. But in general, I knit socks. I have so many socks. My sock drawer is overflowing. I actually went and bought, after watching Stockinette Zombies one year, Megan had gone to the store and bought at Target this, I forget what the box, oh, it was for holding ornaments. It was a big box like this. Big box, and it had, you know, little circles. I actually bought one of those, and that's under my bed because I have so many hand knit socks. Definitely socks. That's not even not even a question. But anyway, I would like to say thank you guys for watching. The giveaway for the yarn, I think I will do on the next podcast. So if you're still interested in getting that self-striping yarn by Fishnets, go ahead and click the subscribe button, and the next time I'm going to have everybody do some kind of entry to pick who's going to be the winner. And you're going to have to, if you want to do this, I'm going to have to be able to see if you subscribed or not. So if it's marked private and I can't see that you're a subscriber, I don't think I'm going to be able to give you the yarn because I won't know that you're subscribed. And the whole point is to increase my viewership, hopefully. Anyway, I'm going to go finish getting ready for Houston. I hope to see some of you there. And with that, I'm going to say get busy knitting or get busy dyeing.